Let's discuss this issue further now. We're joined via Zoom by the IEC's electoral officer in KwaZulu-Natal, Mufuti Masinga. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Apart from what we heard from those young people in that story that was done, there's some talking about broken promises, others talking about the fact that, they don't see any value given the number of young people who are unemployed. What else are they telling you are the reasons for deciding not to register or, really choosing not to be interested in next year's election?
Thanks very much, Bongi Wentek, and thanks to the SABC viewers. What we are picking up from young people is that they want this exercise to be as simple as possible for them to be able to get into the voters' roll, other than the other societal issues that have come up, like unemployment, everything else that they think is going wrong in the country. But they are saying they would want to participate, but they would want their participation to be made as easy as possible, which is the main reason why we have come up as an institution with an online platform where young people can simply go and register a profile and register and be on the voters' roll. Our message to them is, whether you choose to vote next year or not, the first thing you need to do is to get yourself on the voters' roll. We have then made this app available for young people to be able to, in the comforts of their homes or comforts on their campuses, to be able to go and register and vote and be ready to participate meaningfully in next year's elections.
Have they engaged with this app? Are they finding it to be a simpler method for them? Ms. Masinga?
Thank you very much. My apologies. There's a lot of noise coming in from the background on your side.
Apologies. I hope you can hear the question again. It says that you talk about this app. Have they engaged with the app and are they finding it to be a bit more user-friendly?
Yes, we did a sample of young people who have been through our app yesterday. They're finding it very easy, which is why we're saying now that they've piloted with the platform and they can see that it works, we want every tertiary institution student who is on campus or even out of campus to be able to do so. The biggest attraction with the captured audiences in tertiary institutions is that the majority of them have free access to internet, because you do need to have data to be able, because it's a web-based platform, you do need to have internet. And from the students that we engage with, they are telling us that it's actually very easy to manipulate. So we are saying, if you are a student, you have access to the internet, you do have data, you have no excuse not to be registered. When the IEC opens voting stations during registration weekends, we want that to be utilized by people who have no other way to register other than going to the voting station on the day. But if there's someone who has internet access in any family, there's basically no reason why that person can assist everyone in their household to be able to register, so that the only reason they will go to the voting station is when they go to vote.
What about young people in rural communities who do not have access to tertiary institution or the Wi-Fi or data, as this app would make it easier for those who have access to these?
What we do, Bongi, where we have mapped up the country in terms of the registration status in different corners of the country, where we have established that there are connectivity issues, we do what we call targeted communication and registration, where we have our foot soldiers who go into the ground, into those targeted communities where the registration is quite low, and we target those specific communities. We are also partnering, other than the Department of Higher Education, we are partnering with a whole lot of other civil society organizations that are based in these communities, where they are able to organize communities for us, and we go as the Electoral Commission to administer registration physically. Unfortunately, internet penetration in different parts of the country is not the same, and rural areas tend to be the very last ones to get into the went back on, and we are quite knowledgeable of that. So most of our initiatives are tailored differently for the different target audiences that we are targeting. In those areas without good connectivity coverage, we are focusing on face-to-face interventions.
And I'd like to, canvass this point with you and just see how do you plan to contend with this as the IEC. The Human Sciences Research Council's report says that there's a growing disillusionment in democracy, and a lower voter enthusiasm is also threatening a permanent separation of the youth from the electoral system. Listening to some of the young people that we would speak to here on the channel, sometimes they tell you that they don't even think that, their own vote matters, because they feel like political parties will do whatever they want, but also they don't even think that for them it's even worth a bother. How are you going to contend with this one? Because the first step is registration. The next step will even be now to have to make that X next to your preferred party.
Absolutely. That's the challenge that is faced by any other civil society entity within the democracy and human rights ecosystem, where we're trying to make South Africans excited about this country, where it's going. Our message to the young people is, at the end of the day, we all carry the responsibility to make this country work for every one of us. And as young people, you carry even a broader burden to make sure that you participate in shaping the future of this country, because if you choose not to vote as a voter in this country, you are indirectly voting because you are relinquishing the power that you have, which is guaranteed by the constitution of this country, that you will participate in the selection of those that we choose to govern this country on our behalf. So our message to the young people is that, unfortunately, whether you participate or not, this is your future we're talking about. Whether you participate or not, unfortunately, the few that will participate will be choosing the government on your behalf. And that will be the government that will be governing you anyway. So we are saying, rather than leaving that decision to the rest of the citizens of the country, what about you deciding what future you want with this country, and then electing a political party that you believe will spearhead that future for you. We will know that now we are moving into the era where you do not necessarily have to participate through a political party. If you believe that there is no political party that is offering you what you think is good for this country, if you qualify to vote in this country, you now qualify to also participate as an independent candidate in the national and provincial elections. So there is no reason, basically, for any young person not to be part of shaping the future of this country.
Let me thank you so much for your time and for that, and certainly do hope young people heed your call, as you say there, that it is important for them to take part in this particular step. That is the IEC's electoral officer in KwaZulu-Natal, Ms. Ntombifuthi Masinga. Thank you so much for that.